Oh, this week is Passion Week. Some people call it Holy Week. It is the week leading up to Jesus' crucifixion and his resurrection from the dead. And there are many different things that led up to his crucifixion and his resurrection during this week. As we know, on Sunday was Palm Sunday, or his triumphal entry into Jerusalem. But what also happened at his triumphal entry into Jerusalem, as we see in Mark chapter 11, is he also went into the temple and he saw that the temple, how it was being monopolized by all these merchants who were taking advantage of people in order to be able to take and do sacrifices in the temple. But after he did that, the following day, on that following morning, he was leading with his disciples. This would have been on Monday. And on that Monday, it says in Mark 11, verse 12, on the following day, when they came from Bethany, he was hungry. That is, Jesus was hungry. And seeing in a distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to see if he could find anything on it. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. And he said to it, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard it. And so this would have happened on Monday. And on that Monday, he cursed the fig tree. Then afterwards, he went and cleansed the temple. And then it was after that, the next day, we see that he came and he gave a lesson on that fig tree because something happened to that fig tree. And it says, as they passed by, Mark 13, verse 20, as they passed by in the morning, they saw the fig tree withered away to its roots. And Peter remembered and said to him, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree that you cursed has withered." And before we look at the lesson, I just want to look a little bit about the fig tree. As we know, the fig tree, generally it took 3 years after it was planted to actually bear fruit. And oftentimes, during this season, it would have leaves, and it was not the season for the fruit to yet appear. But oftentimes, when they saw the leaves appear on the tree, it would sometimes signify that maybe the fruit is a little before its actual due season. And so Jesus being hungry, and obviously he knew there was not going to be any fruit on this tree, but Jesus, being hungry, he used this as a lesson, and the barrenness of this fruit tree was a picture of the spiritual hypocrisy and fruitlessness of the nation of Israel, especially their spiritual leaders. That is why after this, he actually gives some woes to the Pharisees and the other religious leaders, because they are the ones who are to lead Israel, the Jewish people, to the Messiah, but they were the ones who had the Messiah, who had Jesus crucified instead. And so there is a lesson here with this fig tree, and there's a lot of lessons that we can take from this, but I'm going to look also just at Mark 13 really quickly, verse 28. And he says this was actually after his Olivet discourse when he talked about the end times. And he says this, "From the fig tree learn its lesson. As soon as its branch becomes tender and it puts out its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also when you see these things taking place, that is the tribulation period, the Antichrist, all of those things, you know that he is near at the very gates. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away." And so just like these religious leaders who are to lead people to the Messiah, there's also going to be one who's going to be coming, who's going to be a replacement. He's going to be the opposite. He's going to portray himself as the Christ and lead many people astray. And we know that even though that is the case, and even though there's going to be a lot of worrying and anticipation during that time, we know that God's word, as he says here, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. And so I want to encourage you at the end of that. It is God the Father who created the earth, the heavens, everything. But what is more for sure than that, even though it's tangible and we see it, what more for sure than that are his words. And he has promised us, Jesus promised us, that he's coming once again. He's not like the withered fig tree. He is like a solid oak in the midst of winter that we know will not fall down. We can depend upon him. Because he said it, he will do it. And it's not that he will not deny his word. God being God cannot deny his word. So I pray that encourages you this Holy Week, this Passion Week. And I pray that as we go and lead towards Good Friday, remembering Thursday as well, the Passover feast with the disciples, but Good Friday, that Jesus had his face geared towards Jerusalem. He knew exactly what he was going to do. He went there to die for you. But he didn't stay dead. Remember, Sunday is coming. Well, thank you for joining me.